History of technology, the development over time of systematic techniques for making and doing things. The term technology, a combination of the Greek technique, art, craft with logos, words, speech, meant in grace, a discourse on the arts, both fine and applied. When it first appeared in English in the 17th century, it was used to mean a discussion of the application arts only, and gradually these arts themselves came to be the object of the designations. By the early 20th century, the term embraced a growing range of means, process, and ideas in addition to tools and machines. By mid-century, technology was defined by such phrase as the means or activity by which man seeks to change or manipulate his environment. Even such broad definitions have been criticized by observers who point out the increasing difficulty of distinguish between scientific inquiry and technology activity. A highly compressed account of the history of technology, such as this one, must adopt a rigorous methodological pattern if it is to do justice to the subject without grossly distorting in one way or another the plan followed in the presentation article is primarily chronically tracing the development of technology through phrase that succeed each other in time. Obviously, the division between phases is to large extent arbitrary. One factor in the weighing has been the enormous acceleration of Western technology development in recent centuries. Eastern technology is considered in this article in the main only as it related to the development of modern technology. Within each chronicle phase, a standard method has been adopted for serving the technological experience and innovations. This begins with a brief review of the general social condition of the period under discussion and then goes on to consider the dominant materials and sources of power of the periods and their application to food production, manufacturing industries, building construction, transport and communication, military technology and medical technology. In a final section, the sociocultural consequence of technological change in the periods are examined. This framework is modified according to the particular requirements of every period. Discussion of new materials, for instance, occupy a substantial place in the accounts of earlier phases when new metals were being introduced but are comparatively uniform pattern in description of some other later phases, but the general pattern is retained throughout. One key factor that does not fit easily into this pattern is that of the development of tools. It has seemed most convenient to relate these to the study of materials rather than to any particular application, but it has not been possible to be completely consistent in this treatment. Further discussion of specific areas of the technological development is provided in the variety of other article, for example, electronic exploration, information processing. Essentially, techniques are methods of creating new tools and products of tools. Essential techniques are methods of creating new tools and products of tools, and the capacity for constructing such artifacts is the determining characteristics of human-like species. Other species make artifacts, bees building elaborate hives to deposit their honey, birds make nests, and beavers building dams, but these attributes are the result of patterns of instinctive behavior and cannot be varied to suit rapidly changing circumstances. Human beings, in contrast to other species, do not possess highly developed insensitive reactions but do have the capacity to think systematically and creatively. But about techniques, humans can thus innovate and consciously modify the environment in a way no other species has achieved. An ape may on occasion use a stick to beat bananas from a tree, but a person can fashion the stick into a cutting tool and remove a whole bunch of bananas. Somewhere in the transition between the two, the human, the first human-like species, emerged by virtue of humanity natures as a tool maker. Humans have therefore been technologists from the beginning, and the history of technologies encompasses the whole evolution of humankind in using rationally faculties to devise techniques and modify the environment. Humankind has attacked problems other than those of survival and the production of wealth with which the term technology is used associated today. The technique of language, for example, involves the manipulation of sound and symbols in a meaningful way, and similarly, the techniques of artistics and ritual creativation presentation other aspect of the technological incentive. This article does not deal with these culture and religious techniques, but is a valuable to establish their relationship at the outset because of history of technology reveals a profound interaction between the incentive and opportunities of technological innovations on the one hand and the socio cultural conditions